Okay, let's see what happens.
Mhm.
So, welcome to our new 6-week program called Reach for the Stars. I think what we'll do here is we'll talk about the logistics of the first day as quick as we can. And then if you have any questions after that, just holler.
Okay.
So the first day is always the weirdest day, right? We're always, you've got new kids, you've got permission slips, maybe you've got someone who didn't register coming in and all that. So that's why it'll be good. You'll have 2 people there for each of those classes, for Laura's and Goy's class. So I'll be able to help kind of get them take part of that. I'll bring mats the first day, and then you can take them home after that and bring them back each time. I don't think the schools usually have a place to store them. So I'll have to bring those. When we get started, there's 2 things that they always don't do, and you'll recognize this. They'll come in and you'll ask them if they have to use the restroom, and they'll say no. And you'll ask them if they have to fill their water bottle, and they'll say no. And then 10 minutes into class, somebody will have to go. And if there's only 1 teacher and you have a little one who doesn't know where the bathroom is, if they're a 5th grader, that's fine. Because there's people in the school, it's not like they're alone. But if you have a kindergartner who doesn't know where the bathroom is from this school, everybody has to get up and wait outside the bathroom for her. Okay. So I've begun just saying when they come in, okay, drop your backpack, go use the restroom. I don't have to use the restroom, go use the restroom. Go try, right? And it helps a little bit, but not every time. So the rules when they come in, that's going to be totally up to you. That's going to be your decision, what you want them to do. Just try and be as simple and consistent as you can. So here's where the backpacks go. Roll out your mat, get your water, use the restroom, have a seat, whatever your routine is going to be. And you'll have to repeat it every time. So you might want to make your own, make your own little list of things that become important to you as time goes on. They may ask you to take attendance, which is fine. Someone will come around maybe and check and ask if everyone's here, so that they can account for the kids who signed up and whether they showed up at yoga. But we don't have to really, that's not too much our responsibility. If they're not there, they'll go figure out where they were, if they were out sick or what. So as we begin yoga, the first day, as I said, is going to be a little bit hectic. We're just going to take our time, have them make a name card. So as they come in, the little ones, you might have to show them, but I'm giving you a bunch of colored paper. You're going to fold once, I don't even know how to describe it, once that way and once this way. And then they'll write their name on the front. You can help them if they want, have markers in there and crayons, and then that'll be in front of them each time. And we'll collect them and bring them the next time. Because otherwise, if you have a sub and we don't know their names or whatever, it makes it more difficult. The first day they can decorate after they get their name done. They either then or at the end, they can take time to decorate with crayons, markers, and stickers that I have in there. I learned with stickers they're all a little bit different. So what I did was the last time I had a big group and I handed out 1 sheet at a time, started at one place in the circle and said, take 1 sticker off here and put it on your card. Then I started another one in another place and I said, take 1 off here. Because if you have pretty stickers that somebody falls in love with and there's 100 of them on that 1 sheet, they'll want to put 100 of them on their card. Crazy for stickers.
Yeah.
So in this 6-week journey, we're going to talk about what is space, what are planets and stars, how do we learn about space, how do we learn new things. We're on page 5. And how can we reach for the stars in our lives? So in other words, how can we be the very best that we can be? Yeah, so there's some pictures in here. You can show them nice pictures of space, where the planets are. the Milky Way galaxy, which is where we are. Just for fun, and then talk about what is the solar system, where are we in the solar system, so that's here on this printout here with the planets next to the sun, so how far we are away from the sun and all that, and that we are part of something big. So that's our affirmation for the first day. We are a little part of a big thing, and we're as important as any of the other things, right? So you may use that as an affirmation. You might use it as part of an exercise, whatever you like. But that's our affirmation for the first one. Make it up game will be an introduction with their names. Have the first letter of their name, and then an example, just like we did in training, jumping Jan and leaping Lenora and all that. A little blast off, going on a yoga adventure to space, tucked up in a ball, going all the way up. What might you see in space? What would a good pose be for that, for whatever they find? Take time for the breath, especially in the first class. And you don't have to do these breaths. You can pick anywhere you want for the breath that works for you for this class. But we just have ha breath here. So they're standing in mountain pose with hands by their sides. Oh, yeah. Raise your arms as you over your head as you inhale. And when you exhale, quickly bring your arms down and ha. So a few times for that. Maybe they'll get energized from that. The activity for the first day is make a spaceship. So it's not as horrifying as it looks. So,
fancy.
I know, fancy, right? So ours is going to look a little different than this. We have paper plates in your kit, and what I recommend is you just put them on top of each other and wrap them in aluminum foil, which we also have in the kit, and then they can glue on. They can cut out things from paper. They can glue on stickers. Whatever they want. I have pom-poms in there if they want to use those. I didn't have feathers, even though they like feathers, but I didn't have any for this class for some reason. Dollar store ran out of feathers. So, but anything else that looks fun to maybe stick on there, great. If you prefer, just keep the craft to be the name card. Totally okay to just skip over this if you want. It's totally okay to skip over anything if you want. Totally up to you, okay? The next one,
Go for 1 hour, right?
Yeah, 1 hour. Yep. And then you have time to come in and settle, and then you have to leave a little bit of time for them to get their shoes back on, roll up their mats, make a line, and walk out of the classroom. So yeah, so it's really more like 50 minutes. Yeah. So this is a Stardust activity. I'm substituting it right now with an activity from a little book that I got called the Solar System Packet. And I will email that to you, and you can, and I also have some handouts from it too. I'll get you those when we start class, because I apologize, I forgot. It's like create an alien and color him and say what his special power is and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be good, but I would avoid the glitter one personally. It's too messy. If you're outside, it's a possibility. So, depending on how good they are, I guess. Namaste song at the end, rolling up mats. You can say your affirmation again. I didn't write that on there, but you can always say your affirmation at the end. In here, you're going to have more than 6 hours of material. And in October, we have Halloween, and we always do a special Halloween class. So feel free to pick and choose what works for you. Okay, you don't have to do all of it. If you have other ideas, another story, whatever, it's totally okay to add them. This is much more your class than the after school program at District 2, because there's so many kids involved in that. And ours are also different because these are kiddos whose parents have signed them up for this, and kids who probably really asked to do it. So you're going to have a whole different attitude than the kids in District 2 who are there in daycare, kind of, Yeah, it's different. It feels good to work hard at something and accomplish your goal. I am proud of my accomplishments when I work harder. This is really just a lesson on doing your best. And I have a book. You guys will probably have to share this book possibly, but since I'm doing Goy's first, I'll probably give it to her first. Unless I can't find it, then I'll give it to her on the first day, but I thought I had a book. It's a book called Mae Jemison, and Mae Jemison was the first African-American woman in space in the United States. So it's a really inspiring story. We don't, yeah, who knows what I gave them. But I'll bring it. I have 2 copies somewhere. So Mae Jemison was a really inspirational character, and it's nice to see, it's nice to give them a little example, but you don't have to read the whole book. You don't even have to read any of it. You can show them the pictures and say, this is somebody who, so it depends on the interest. You could have, 3 3rd graders, 3 4th graders, and 3 5th graders in your class. And you're going to gear the whole thing towards a much higher level. Chances are, though, you're going to have some K's and 1s in there. So you will have to kind of teach to the majority. If it gets to a point where it looks like you really have a split class, then we'll get a volunteer from our training to do their practicum hours with one of you, whoever needs it, or if you both need it, because it's really hard to bridge that gap. But typically, it's more little ones, a couple of older ones, usually girls, very nurturing, and they love to help. And they can kind of take that, they can take delegation, they can take a little bit more special stuff. And then you can kind of, they'll get treated a little bit differently because they're older. They're kind of more like your peers if they're helping. So that would be something that we won't really know till the day, and we'll work it out then, and we'll find out. So we have freeze dance yoga in here, which can be anything: musical chairs, freeze dance, whatever works for you. Hula hoop pass. I have to remind myself to get the hula hoops to you guys if you don't have any. Calm down or finger tracing breath. So that's the in and out, in and out. And then there's a little goal sheet here. And once I learn how many kids are in your class, I can make you these copies, or you can make copies and just put it on your invoice to me. Okay. So this is kind of, I like this a lot because it's what I'm very good at, but it's also something I would like to get better at, or I think I could be good at something that I haven't done before. So it's kind of like, it's not just I'm good at this and I'm bad at that, something I might to learn about the possibilities of what's ahead and what's yet to learn. Closing, easy. Number 3, through research, we can do new things. So we make an impact no matter our size. For younger groups, you'd say we make a difference or we matter, no matter how big or small we are. And how do they go about learning things? How do we learn things that we didn't know before? So there's a bunch of topics here, a bunch of talk and stories about the planets, and you can use whatever you want, but there is another little booklet that I have for you to give out to them, which is from this solar system PDF, and they'll be able to make a book of the planets of their own. So that'll be more helpful than just reading to them. Maybe moon salutations, talking about the moon. Stick Together is a game where we divide into pairs, roughly people who are about the same size as each other. Give each pair a straw, which I'll have to bring to you again. I forgot them. And you're going to mirror each other. So face each other and each lift up your right hand or do a mirror. And
I think we did that during the
did we do it with
training
something in
too. Yeah.
between us? Okay, good. I wasn't sure if we had something in between or not. So it's sort of like a mirror image. You're going to try to keep connected by that. Draw your breath. We did that as well. Remember, just an in and up, in and up, and then just compare them with each other. Okay, moving right along. Mindful space. Oh, that's kind of an interesting one. Introduce the idea that everyone has a comfort zone around their body. Little kids are not going to get this. Just skip over this play game. It's totally okay if they're all little, but if they're bigger, some people need less space than others. Everyone is different. Kind of like how close a moon might be to a planet. Divide up into small groups, stand in small circles, and hold hands to measure distance, and then let go of hands and take one step back. Now begin to take steps towards each other and move slowly, and tell the students to raise their hand when they feel that they have reached their comfort space. This is where your personal energy ends. It would be fine with kids, but with little ones, I think it's going to be too much.
Too much abstract for them.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. And they'll just walk into each other, right? Just big kids might do that as well.
You could do like that, like a energy, like energy up,
Yes.
energy out.
Energy out, energy down, energy in. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And you can tell them it's called prana
Yeah.
if they,
Energy.
if that seems like a good
Mhm.
fit for that. Moon rocks, we're going to do something different. We're going to just paint some rocks, and then we're going to use them the next week for an activity. But we're not there yet, and I have not gotten the rocks yet. This is a coloring sheet. If you like, I can make those for the kiddos before we're there. Week 4, we're always learning all the time. So I like this one a lot. I don't know if kids love it that much, but this one there's a chart in here that we made. So it's how we've grown in our learning experience. Long ago, just as an example, people thought the earth was flat. And that Columbus would fall off the edge of the earth if he traveled beyond the continent of Europe. Then we learned that we once thought that the earth was the center of the universe. People laughed at scientists who thought it wasn't. And then we found that wrong, and we grew to believe that people thought the moon and planets were too far away to ever be reached by humans. And now we know the universe has expanded many, many times over. So just an example of what we don't know now doesn't mean we're not going to know it later. And let's see. For yoga, you can do the yoga slide, which is a really active one. We did that, I'm pretty sure, with in our training, or yoga clock if it's a younger group, or just use your.
What is yoga slide?
Yoga slide was that song. It's like step to the left, step to the right.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, this is one where they make up. They're going to make up their own poses. Oh no, this isn't. I'm sorry. Okay, so work with a partner to become lunar rovers. So here's where we're going to put the rocks that we painted in the middle of the room, and it looks like hungry hippos. Really, you have kids on their hands like wheelbarrow, and another person holding their legs, and they're going to try to walk in and grab the rock and bring it back. So yeah, if it's really hard, we have to think of maybe they could just individually crab walk in and pick up the rock and crab walk out, or something like that, a little bit easier. But stronger and bigger kids will love it, Okay. Everything Space is a book that we haven't, we won't use the book this time around because I don't really have enough for everyone. But the affirmation is, my thoughts and ideas are important. So sitting in a circle with a mindful activity, pass out a card to each one and have them think of something that they have, an idea that they had, and help them find it if they need to. The idea could be, I bet if I help my mom do dinner dishes, she might have time to play a game with me. Or if we all pick up pieces of trash at lunchtime before we go to home from school, our classroom will be a cleaner place for us to learn. So really just, it could also be acts of kindness. Just think of something nice you could do for someone and maybe put it into a jar and then pick them out. Breathing star is standing in Tadasana. And as you breathe in, jump out to star pose. And as you exhale, come back to mountain pose. So it's almost like jumping jacks. But the challenge is try to keep it slower. So it's not jumping jacks, but it's more of a mindful thing. Okay, my ideas and thoughts are important. the ever-changing universe. So everywhere I look, there's change. What things change? What things have changed for you this year, this month, today, in the last 5 minutes? And just reminding them that of the idea of impermanence. What do you think? What does impermanence mean to you? That nothing will stay the same. Even the happy things I have and the sad things I have, they're all going to change. So the affirmation is change happens.
Include like with seasons too.
Oh, totally,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
How it's, and whether from one day to the next, and our moods, and you know, we get sick and then we get healthy, and then you know, just our whole lives or whatever. This is a hard game, which it's fun for older kids again, but it's much too hard for little ones. But let me go through it anyway. Where the game is acting out the movement that the person on the side of them tells them to do. And then come up with a new action for the person on the other side of them to do. But when I tell you your action is going to be brushing your teeth. So you're going to start doing this. And then you're going to, and then the person next to you is going to say, what are you doing? And you're going to say, I'm combing my hair, even though you're not. And the person is going to start combing their hair next to you. And the person next to them is going to say, what are you doing? And they're going to say, I'm walking the dog, but they're combing their hair. The next person has to pretend to walk the dog. And the next person asks them, what are you doing? And they're going to say, I'm playing jump rope, but they're really walking the dog. Very tricky. It's like that. It's like that blue, red, seeing the color and seeing a different word in it. Totally okay if you skip it, if it's smaller or if it doesn't look like a group that's going to like it, totally okay. There's so much more in this than you need, so it's okay. Back to back with a partner. This is a washing machine breath, so it's really a twist. You're going to twist and grab the small object, whatever it is, maybe a pom-pom, and twist it behind you and reach it from the other person who's handing it to you, and then you're going to reach around and hand it to them. So it's like an action, you're taking and giving, and then you can go the other way. There's a story here, story of the Sams. I don't know if I included it. I better look. Well, if I didn't include it, I'll send you a link to it, or I'll print it out. From The Treasure in Your Heart, which is a book by Sydney Solis. And that has a lot of yoga in it. Let's see, naming my thoughts. Sit knee to knee, place your hands on your knees, close or lower your eyes for 1 or 2 minutes. Silently notice the thoughts that come up in your head and give each one a label. For example, this is going to be an older kid thing too. You could do it with little kids and say happy or sad. Okay, as you label each thought, this is a meditation really. As you label each thought, let it float away like a cloud. So I would probably introduce this as a meditation. And I'd say, let the thoughts come to you and just decide, are they good thoughts, happy thoughts, or sad thoughts? I don't know what that was. Or do I want to keep that thought, or do I want to let it go? Does it make me happy or does it make me sad? Something like that. Just noticing their thoughts is really what it is. The story of blank, my name here. So this is just an example. When I was little, I could not blank, and now I can. Because this is that example of growth mindset where you can't do it now, but you can do it later. When I was little, I could not walk, but now I can run. When I was a toddler, I couldn't even say my name, but then I learned how to. Last year, I was not very good at this, whatever it was, hockey. And this year I can play better. Right now, I can't quite do this, but soon I think I'll be able to do it. So I like that one, just like a little looking back at your life from the age of 7. As we learn, our space gets bigger and bigger. There are many galaxies besides ours, and there's a lot we don't know. Again, our affirmation is, I am part of something big. I am an important part of something big. And we did this one already in the beginning. So you're kind of coming back to that. You can make it into sort of a chant. They could do something with their hands while they do it. You know, I am part of something big or something different. For yoga tag, okay, this is in a larger group. Have one person be it, and they decide what pose everyone will freeze in and how they'll get unfrozen. For example, when you get tagged, you freeze in mountain pose. And the only way to get unfrozen is for someone to jump up and touch your hand, or whatever it is, whatever they make up is fine. But there's a way to get frozen and a way to get unfrozen. And squat and breathe, stand up tall, inhale, sit in chair with your arms straight out in front of you. As you exhale, return to standing. So it's really just 10 times going from chair to mountain, from chair to mountain. There is a fun activity which we're going to try to do, and it's make a Saturn CD, but it's going to be a little different from the way they have it here because this was really hard. But I do have a lot of old CDs, and I think that might work. So, and a styrofoam ball, which is cut in half. So in the end, it will look something like that, like a picture with the styrofoam thing cut in half, but it'll be a lot simpler. Yeah, it'll look more like that than the finished thing, okay? And then we also have another choice, which is the nebula jar, which is also, you could also just make a regular glitter jar. So the nebula jar is the glue and the coloring and the glitter, but it also adds this cotton. And when we tried it in real life, it did not look anything like the pictures. It looked like a clump of cotton inside of things. So I think glitter jar is probably better. And we'll go over that if you haven't done it before. So I'm not collecting little plastic things that are the same, so we have it all prepared for everybody. But if they're good and it's last week, they might really like to do that. And then they have a meditation jar to use and a calm down jar. And it's a nice thing to go home to. Coloring can be relaxing. So this is one of the ones you can add in anytime. And we can make you copies, or you can make your own, just put down how much it costs. These are books and resources. But I'll get you most of the books that you need. Planets is just more information on planets that you can look at and share whatever they want. The yoga slide is here. It's also on Spotify. Namaste and closing songs are two different, just a couple of different ideas depending on your age. Usually that little light song is the one we use. A couple of sun salutations, if you want to use them each time, that's fine. Little ones especially love the repetition. So it's totally okay if you have a small group and you tell them, and you do the same thing a couple of times, totally okay. The more sun salutations here. And a fun story, which is called The Rabbit and the Moon. So there's a link to the Sydney Solis who reads this story, and it's a really good story the way she tells it. But the point is, the rabbit gets a spot on the moon because he's so good to the hunter or the stranger who was in the woods. He's willing to give up his life for the stranger, and so he earns a spot on the moon. And now that I know it's there, I can see it, but I never would have noticed it before. But that's okay. Breathing buddies are a choice we have. I think now, if we have time for that at the end, a little stuffed animal, one of those with beanbag animals on their belly to breathe in and out. And then here's an activity that I do have the materials for. So again, use this anywhere you want. The Fun Night Sky painting is, I just did it with little kids and it was pretty good. So I feel like it's a pretty good one for any age. It's called Resist Art, which means you're writing in crayon. It's like coloring Easter eggs. You write in crayon with a color you can't see or very light. But the trick is, I have some watercolor paper in there for everybody, but the trick is you got to go really hard. You got to push really hard on, otherwise it doesn't work. So make sure they're drawing hard and they can write their name, they can do stars or suns or whatever. But the point is, you won't see it until you get out your watercolors her in there as well, and brushes, and just smear it over nice and wet. And then the stars will come out of the dark sky. So,
Will be fun.
yeah, it looks really cute, really fun. I just did it with 2 groups of kids and it was good. I mean, even 2-year-olds did it with help. So I have no doubt these kids can do it. When we do something like that on carpet, it's good to bring a plastic cloth or something. I meant to get you guys one, but I forgot. So,
And you can press back too, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They can have their own or,
Yeah.
and if you could go outside, even
Yeah.
better, then they can just do it at a picnic table or wherever they are outside in their yard. So these are things you can add in. Remember, you can subtract and add whenever you want. So you can decide one of these lessons is not right for you and you're gonna do a story or the art activity or anything else that you find along the way.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Phew, and that's our 6 weeks.
Very good.
Not bad, 6 weeks in an hour. Yeah, so, yeah, look these over, have fun with them, but don't feel obligated in any way to do something you're not comfortable doing, or you really don't like that, or whatever, it's totally okay. Okay, we did it. We did it in 6 weeks in 1 hour.
But it's been very organized, so it's easy to follow. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be easy, and mark, when you go through it, mark the ones you really want to do,
Yeah.
so you make sure that you get to them, because you will get to the end and with the
So
Halloween
we are
class.
meet again, just the first day.
First day,
How about all the materials, kind of like to use with them
most of them are in there.
already in there?
Most of them are in there, yes,
Okay.
like things like the paints and the crayons and colors and
And how many kids we have? You know?
stickers, we don't know.
Oh, you don't know yet.
That's why I don't make copies yet, because
Okay.
if I make you 20 copies and then we only have
So
10
it's
kids.
starting like, you can stop that because it is not for.
Oh, okay, it's not for everybody. Okay, so Laura, I hope you got a chance to watch this and we'll talk soon, okay? And I'll be there at your first class as well. Bye.
With school.